General Hospital. Losing Willow could turn Michael into a real Corinthos. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, General Hospital, where we dive into the latest gossip, spoilers, and theories about our favorite characters in Port Charles. Today, we're talking about one of the most gripping storylines currently unfolding. Michael Corinthos and the emotional turmoil he's enduring as he grapples with the possible loss of his wife, Willow Tate. What would losing Willow mean for Michael? Could it awaken the darker side of him, the one that mirrors his father, Sonny Corinthos? Stick around as we unpack the drama and what it could mean for Michael's future in this explosive storyline. A fractured foundation. Michael sat alone in the Corinthos mansion, staring at his phone. The glow of the screen reflected on his face, highlighting the tightness in his jaw and the storm brewing in his eyes. On the screen was the footage he had found, a video from the nursery camera showing Willow and Drew in an embrace that was far too intimate for his liking. His thumb hovered over the play button, replaying the moment in his mind for what felt like the 100th time. His initial reaction to the footage had been visceral, anger, betrayal, and disgust. But now, as the initial shock wore off, another feeling began to creep in: doubt. Was he really about to lose Willow? The weight of that thought hit him harder than he expected. For all his anger and resentment, the idea of a life without her seemed unbearable. Yet the more he tried to rationalize his emotions, the more he found himself thinking not about saving his marriage, but about vengeance. Fatherly shadows. It wasn't lost on Michael how much he had changed over the years. When he was younger, he looked up to his father with awe. Sonny was strong, fearless, and always knew how to handle a situation. But as Michael grew older, he saw the darker side of Sonny, the violence, the ruthlessness, the moral compromises. Michael had promised himself he would never be like his father. He had clung to his mother, Carly Spencer, for guidance, adopting her more calculated approach to problem solving. But recent years had forced him to confront a harsh truth. He wasn't just Carly's son. Michael had Sonny's blood coursing through his veins, and in moments like this, when betrayal threatened to unravel his carefully constructed world, it was Sonny's voice he heard in his head. Don't let anyone make a fool out of you. You take control, no matter what it costs. Strategy over love. When Michael discovered Willow's connection to Drew, his first instinct wasn't to confront her. Instead, he locked the knowledge away, choosing to strategize. Confrontation felt too risky. He needed time to think about his next move, to consider how this revelation could be used to his advantage. He was no stranger to betrayal. After all, he had been unfaithful to Willow himself, an affair he had buried deep in his past, where he thought it would never resurface. Sasha Gilmore, his ex-girlfriend and Willow's best friend, had been a fleeting distraction during a turbulent time in his marriage. Yet Michael hadn't thought twice about keeping it a secret. Now, standing in judgment of Willow, he couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt, followed swiftly by anger. How dare she lie to me? After everything we've been through. But Michael's anger wasn't just about Willow's deception. It was about the fact that Drew, someone he had come to respect, had betrayed him as well. A Quartermaine quandary. Michael's lineage had always been a complicated web of loyalties and betrayals. As a Corinthos by name and a Quartermaine by blood, he carried the weight of both families' legacies. The Quartermaines were known for their cunning, their ability to manipulate any situation to their advantage. Michael could feel that part of himself rising to the surface. The part that wanted to use this footage to turn the tables on Drew and Willow, to make them pay for their betrayal. But another part of him, one that he couldn't quite silence, wondered if he was more like his father than he realized. A conversation that had nearly opened up to Sonny about what was going on had been a turning point. Sitting across from his father in the dimly lit living room, He had felt the urge to spill everything, to ask for advice, to share the burden of his anger and confusion. But something held him back. Sonny had noticed, of course. His sharp eyes never missed a thing. "You want to tell me what's on your mind, kid?" Sonny had asked, his tone unusually gentle. Michael hesitated, the words caught in his throat. In the end, he had just shaken his head and muttered, "It's nothing." Now sitting alone in the same room, Michael wished he had taken the chance to talk to his father. He hated the idea of following in Sonny's footsteps, but he couldn't deny that Sonny knew how to handle situations like this. The bitter truth. When Michael finally confronted Willow, it wasn't the calm, measured conversation he had envisioned. "I know," he said, his voice low and steady. Willow froze, her eyes wide with shock. "You know what?" "About you and Drew." The color drained from Willow's face. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Michael held up his hand to silence her. "Don't. Just don't. I've seen the footage." The room fell into an icy silence as Michael waited for her to respond. "It's not what you think," Willow finally said, her voice trembling. "It was a mistake, Michael. It didn't mean anything." Michael let out a bitter laugh. "Didn't mean anything? You expect me to believe that after everything I've seen?" Willow's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry, Michael. I should have told you the truth from the beginning." "Yeah, you should have," Michael snapped. "But you didn't. And now I don't know if I can ever trust you again." A dangerous path. As Michael stormed out of the house, his mind raced. He felt like he was on the verge of losing everything: his wife, his family, his sense of self. But instead of despair, he felt something else: determination. If Willow and Drew thought they could betray him without consequences, they were sorely mistaken. Michael didn't know exactly what his next move would be, but he knew one thing for certain: he wasn't going to let them get away with it. In that moment, he felt the full weight of his father's influence. He was no longer just Michael Corinthos. He was a Corinthos in every sense of the word. The price of revenge. As Michael began to plot his next move, he couldn't shake the feeling that he was crossing a line he might never come back from. But the allure of power, of control, was too strong to resist. Would he become the man his father always hoped he would be? Or would he lose himself in the process? Stay tuned for the next chapter of Michael's journey as he grapples with love, betrayal, and the darker side of his Corinthos legacy. This concludes the first part of our deep dive into Michael Corinthos' journey. The story is far from over, and the twists and turns are sure to keep us all on the edge of our seats. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more updates on General Hospital. What do you think Michael's next move will be? Will he confront Drew, or will he take a more calculated approach? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.